Welcome to the Queens on Decks, where I interview female DJs from around the world. I am Michelle Miller, your host of the Royal Queens Rising podcast. We share our inspiring stories and secrets to our success. Hi, welcome. I'm Michelle, DJ RunDat, and today I have a very special guest, DJ Staci. Welcome to the Royal Queens Rising podcast. Hello.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's so nice to connect again. I feel like a lot has happened in this past year, so I'm excited to dive in.
Yeah, really. Well, I feel like I'm barely clinging to the identity of being a DJ right now since I haven't DJed in so long. I was at least live streaming before I moved, but I just recently moved, and since I've relocated, which was about 2 months ago, like I still haven't gotten my equipment shipped to me yet, which is a whole other long story. And yeah, so I feel like the least DJ-ish I have been in a very long time at this particular moment, so.
Yeah, I bet you're not alone with that because I've talked to a lot of DJs, a lot of women, and some just don't even feel like DJing. And then there's you. You just moved to Cancun, Mexico, which I'm really excited for you. And you don't have your gear. So what have you been doing?
Oh my goodness. Well, I feel like I didn't expect that the settling in process was going to take as long as it has. I have lived in Mexico before, but I never owned a house. And that one little thing has made quite a bit of difference. And then when I moved to Mexico the first time, I drove my car, and whatever belongings that I had with me, were in the car. But Cancun is much further south. It's practically in Guatemala, so driving was just not a realistic option. So yeah, everything was shipped from a DJ friend of mine in San Diego shipped it here, and then the customs in Mexico City basically shipped all my stuff back because of like a bureaucratic discrepancy with my passport. So not only do I have to pay thousands of dollars for all the shipping again, but yeah, I've been living here for 2 months and I have like 5 shirts.
Oh my gosh, girl. So are you living in a bathing suit or what?
Honestly, no, one of the things that's kind of funny, like mentioning the bathing suit thing, is like normally in San Diego when I would work out, I could wear the same sports bra like 2 or 3 times before I felt like I really needed to put it in the wash. Because I'm just not like, it's not humid there. And here, I feel like you wear your sports bra once, and everything has to get washed. Like everything has the shelf life of like 20 minutes as far as that goes. Like anything you're exercising in because it's so humid. So I did have to buy a whole bunch of more sports bras and like workout clothes right away because I realized like, well, I can't do laundry like every 3 days. This is not going to be working out. So, but as far as the shirts and stuff, I'm trying to tough that one out and just wait until the rest of my clothes get here.
Oh my gosh. So speaking of working out, so you are DJ Staci The Trackstar. So let's talk about your name. How did you get your name?
Sure. Well, I started running track when I was 6 years old, and I competed in track all the way, from first grade through college. And when I was in college, I was a two-time NCAA All-American in track and field. So yeah, and then just I won like state championships and stuff like that, as a kid and everything. So yeah.
Wow, that's really cool. I actually tried to pole vault when I was a freshman, and I just remember just like ramming into the pole. Like you're running with a 14-foot pole, and you got to get in the hole, and then you got to get yourself up and upside down and over. And it was quite the adventure. It only lasted one season.
Actually, females being allowed to pole vault is something that just happened, you know, in the last few years of my track career. So I definitely feel like I had a lot of respect for any woman that was willing to try it, because it's really, you know, upper body strength and everything, and it is dangerous because, you know, you're, you know, 13, 14 feet up in the air, and you could definitely not land on the mat when that happens. I've seen it happen to people. I've seen ambulances at track meets, and you know when you see an ambulance at a track meet, you're like, is the pole vaulter okay? Like, it's always the pole vaulter, you know?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's definitely an interesting sport for sure. Um, so with DJing in Cancun, so do you have a whole new business plan? Are you rebranding? Like, you want to share a little behind the scenes of, you know, what's going on?
Yeah, well, this here is DJ Whiskers, and um, my plan for Cancun, I mean, really, like, one of the main benefits of coming to live here is that I really don't have to DJ weddings anymore. And so I am retiring from that, which a lot of people think that's kind of funny, because there's definitely a huge market for an American DJ with, you know, 12 years of wedding DJ experience to make some good money down here DJing all the destination weddings and stuff. Um, but yeah, there was a variety of reasons for the move, and I feel like, well, you know, if I get to live someplace that's so much cheaper than San Diego now, I really don't have to DJ weddings anymore. So I really plan to just focus on, you know, bars and nightclubs and maybe some corporate events. I think one of the biggest like indicators of where I'm at with all of that is that when I lived in San Diego, I drove a Ford Flex, which is like a tank, and you can fit a lot of stuff in it. And I said, you know, when I'm moving to Cancun and I'm retiring from wedding DJing, I am buying a smart car. And I think the fact that I have committed to that small of a car is pretty indicative of, you know, where I see myself going DJ wise. I see myself not doing any more heavy lifting, and I'm sure, you know, like from Instagram, I did the 100 days of scratching at the beginning of this year with some friends of mine, and have been working with DJ Shorty on doing scratch lessons. So that's really where I see myself going, is focusing more on that kind of craft stuff, and just really doing it more for the enjoyment, because, you know, if you're not making money like DJing in clubs in the US, I definitely don't expect I'll be making anything like in pesos here. So yeah, definitely just looking to experience the fun side of DJing, and I definitely want to, and I actually have someone I'm working with right now as far as coaching, you know, other DJs business-wise. So I don't plan on getting away from the business side of it in that regard, but more turning my focus from actually being at weddings to coaching, and working on some kind of side projects and websites and everything to continue working on DJ business growth and stuff like that.
Yeah, I hear you on that. I really enjoy that side of the business stuff. I'm just natural business hustler. Like, I really love online marketing and branding, and I know you and I connected last time about speaking, because I had had my first gig, and I'm actually speaking this week at a virtual seminar, and I saw that you were putting together a presentation in Spanish. Is that correct?
I haven't really made too much progress with it, because I'm just honestly, like, all day long for me is just like working on this remodel so I can get, you know, because I have like an Airbnb property that I purchased and some other things, and so literally all day long it's just like house painters. And yeah, honestly, I feel like without all my stuff here, and and still being in that settling in process, I just feel so disconnected from like my whole previous life. I mean, other than like my daughter being here, and motherhood, and I guess maybe exercise. You know, I just feel like that whole world is so far away right now. But yeah, no, I feel like I was very lucky to connect with a group of local feminists when I first moved here. I just saw, like, I was looking for events on Facebook, and I saw that there was going to be a women's march against domestic violence. And so there's a whole group of people, and that's been a really awesome thing for me. But I noticed right away that it would be really helpful to this group of primarily young women that are either entering college or just graduating from college, that, you know, I could share some of my financial knowledge with them, just as far as the things that I've gone through, being like almost double all of their ages, and coming from a different background and everything. So I thought, you know, I definitely want to be involved in doing, you know, charity work and grassroots things while I'm here, which when I lived in Mexico before, I was definitely involved in all of that kind of stuff. So I thought, great, that's going to be one of my first projects. And yeah, it's coming along very slowly though, because I feel like I'm at the point where, okay, I need somebody to help me understand how to say all these financial terms, like REIT or an ETF, or even just like budget. There literally is not really a word for budget in Spanish in the same context that we use it in English. Anyway, so I'm kind of stuck at that point, but I will figure it out. Even if I have to like pay a Spanish financial planner to teach me all these words, I'll figure it out. So.
Wow. Wow, that's fascinating. Good for you. That's really cool. It's really important because, yeah, people, especially young people, are not taught finances and money management. And the fact that they don't even really have a word for budget like we do, that kind of says a lot. And interestingly, I got approached to be a part of an EDM festival in Mexico next year that was gonna raise money for single moms, and I should link you with these people because you're over there.
So where I live in Cancun, I'm like 35 or so miles away from Playa del Carmen, about an hour away from Tulum. And in Tulum, they have a bunch of festivals throughout the whole year. It's very well known in Mexico for just like one festival after another. So yeah, I mean, it would be awesome to be connected with any of those people. And I've actually had the opportunity to run into a couple of people that know some of the festival people, so I'm hoping that works out. The other thing that's been working out, or I anticipate later on working out well for me here, is, you know, that I feel like as a wedding DJ, you know, you really have to stay up on all kinds of music, and, you know, old and new, and I'm definitely felt like when I started doing live streaming, like I really just want to play house music, and it's not that you know, I don't like other kinds of music, I do, but that's just really the direction I wanted to gravitate towards. And anyway, here in Cancun, like house music is the soundtrack for everything. Like you're in the gym, they're playing deep house. In the grocery store, deep house. You're at the shopping center, like the ambient music. In the, you know, walkways or whatever, it's house music. So I'm pretty excited about that. I really had no idea that was the case when I decided to come here. So
Wow. Wow,
yeah.
that's really cool. Yeah, I went to Playa del Carmen about 8 years ago when I was pregnant with my son, and I don't remember it being like that, but I was also pregnant and like stayed kind of back a lot while everyone else went out and explored. But I am thinking about coming out to Tulum in December for my friend's 40th birthday. So good to know that you're kind of in the area and like to know a little bit about the vibe, because I would definitely want to try to see some music. But I'm also wondering, what is it like over there right now with COVID?
I can only speak, you know, from San Diego as my U.S. sort of point of reference, but I would say overall it's pretty similar, but there are definitely some little differences. So one of the main differences is when you walk into basically any store, you're going to have your temperature taken. And I feel like in the US, the only time I had my temperature taken was when I went into a restaurant. But here, if you go into Home Depot or like a grocery store, literally any building, even if I just go to a friend's house and they live in like a, you know, like a residential neighborhood where they have like security in the front or whatever, I would have to get my temperature taken. Or to go to the mall, you get your temperature taken at the front door, and then every store that you go in at the mall, they're going to continue to take your temperature. So you could have your temperature taken, you know, 20 times in an hour. Also, hand sanitizer is like forced on you every time you enter any building. And I feel like that kind of bugs me because hand sanitizer, if you read up on it, it's actually responsible for causing more like bacteria and virus growth because it encourages virus and bacteria to grow stronger. It's so, you know, for me, I feel like I try to avoid it at all costs, and I would much rather just not touch my face and then go wash my hands. But there are some places where you go where they literally squirt it right on you and you cannot enter unless you take the hand sanitizer. So that's a thing. Another thing here is children are not allowed in a lot of the stores. So if you want to buy groceries, go to Home Depot, Office Depot, Costco, any of those kind of stores, you can't enter with a child. And so as a single mother, that's been a real inconvenience. I've definitely had to figure out plans for how I'm going to leave Jennifer in the car and not have her die of overheating. So you got to leave your air conditioning running, sometimes for as long as like 45 minutes, you know, while your kid is sitting in the car. And I mean, she's 8. Like, if this were a couple of years ago when she was younger, honestly, I don't know, I'd have to figure something else out. So that's a difference. The beaches in San Diego were open when I left and were pretty much open for the majority of the time that we've been in quarantine. But the beaches here just reopened like 2 weeks ago, and they're only open from 9 to 5 every day. So basically, if you work, you really can't go to the beach. Like, I wanted to go running at 8 o'clock in the morning, which is always when I work out. I wasn't able to run on the beach. What else? I would say that's really, I think, the main couple of things that I've noticed that are different. School is still online. I don't know of any schools here that are back in person. I did understand that in San Diego, some of the schools have they've been allowed to go back in person, but I'm not sure if any of them are actually doing it, but I know that they are allowed to if they want to. The plan here for school when that does happen is they'll have 1 day in person and then 1 day back online and then 1 day back in person, so they're going to kind of do it in stages. So that's about it. That's all I know.
Yeah, what about the bars and clubs?
Oh yeah, all those places are primarily closed, but here I feel like the main difference is the government hasn't, I mean, from what I understand, from what I see, the government doesn't seem to have required any businesses to close, but many have closed voluntarily. And again, I'm not exactly sure on this, but I just feel like from the variety of businesses like hair salons and stuff, I see that they are open, but nobody's in there. So I think what's happening is people are taking the quarantine a little bit more seriously than what I saw people doing in San Diego. I mean, in San Diego, if it was open, there were people there. Here, businesses are open, but nobody's in them. Yeah. So I think that's a big difference. I do know, like, across the street from where I live, there is some kind of a nightclub, because on Friday and Saturdays I hear loud music and see lights flashing. But whether there's people in there, I don't really know. I have gotten on some DJ groups on Facebook here, and I'm not really seeing too many people out playing anywhere where I see any crowds or anything like that. I've definitely seen pictures where people have been sort of like at an open air, like beachside bar or something, that type of a place, and they've been playing music, but Yeah, definitely like Coco Bongo and the other like main clubs here, Mandala, those places are closed.
Wow. It's so fascinating to me how all around the world it's very different. And even in the US, I'm sure you kind of see some of the same stuff I see because we share a lot of the same network of people that all over the country in different states it's so different. And even here in California, I'm in Northern California in Humboldt County, which we have been not in the same category as everybody else, but we've still been pretty strict about bars and weddings and events. Like you can have a ceremony now with certain restrictions, but you can't have the reception. But then, you go see a DJ across the country somewhere and they're like full on, and it's like really unfair.
A pandemic or anything, yeah, no, I agree. There's a wide variety of different things.
Yeah, yeah. Um, well, I want to thank you for being on the show again. And is there any last thoughts or anything you want to share with us?
No, I mean, I just think it's really awesome, all the work that you're doing to bring together the female DJ community. And, I just wish you all the success with speaking and your books. And as somebody that also is, a lover of social media marketing and digital marketing, I know all the behind the scenes things that it goes into to, get things up on all these different channels. And, so just a lot of respect for what you're doing, and I wish you all the success.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yeah, wonderful. All right, thanks guys for tuning in. Till next time. Bye. I wanted to thank everybody for tuning into the Royal Queens Rising podcast, all of my amazing guests, and all of the subscribers. Thank you so much for being a part of this. If you would like to be a guest or you know somebody that should be featured, please send them my way. You can reach me on my website, www.djrundat.com.